I'm Laura Coates, and our breaking news tonight, a deadly mass shooting in the heart of Manhattan. Even 4 people dead, including a police officer. A 5th person was shot. He's in critical condition. We're looking right now at live pictures near the skyscraper on Park Avenue where it all went down. Police say the shooter is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. They shared this shocking photo showing the suspected gunman walking brazenly, broad daylight, into the massive office building with an M4 rifle. He is striding straight across the entry plaza in the middle of the afternoon. And the NYPD is identifying him as 27-year-old Shane Devin Tamora. Now, they say he lived in Las Vegas. He drove across the country to New York City, had a mental health history. He also had a concealed firearms permit as well. And police say they don't yet know what his motive was. That building includes offices for the NFL and the asset management company Blackstone. In a news conference a few months ago, the NYPD commissioner explained what happened when this man entered.
The building's security camera footage shows the shooter enter the lobby, turn right, and immediately open fire on an NYPD officer. He then shoots a woman who took cover behind a pillar and proceeds through the lobby, spraying it with gunfire. He makes his way to the elevator bank, where he shoots a security guard who was taking cover behind the security desk. One additional male is shot in the lobby, per his own statement from the hospital. The shooter then calls the elevator, which opens in the lobby. A female exits that elevator, and he allows her to walk past him unharmed. He goes up to the 33rd floor, which is Rudin Management, and begins to walk the floor, firing rounds as he traveled. One person was struck and killed on that floor. He then proceeds down a hallway and shoots himself in the chest.
Truly shocking to hear these details unfolding, and we're learning still more information even as we speak. So I want to get right to CNN senior crime justice correspondent Shimon Prokupecz, who rushed to the scene as soon as we even learned that the horrible incident was even unfolding. Also here, a man is working all of his extensive sources to get us eyes inside the building, our own chief law enforcement and intelligence analyst, John Miller. Shimon, I want to begin with you because the mayor, the police, they just spoke. They revealed new information about what happened. What are we learning tonight?
You know, I'm so struck there, Laura, by what the police commissioner said, because these people in the lobby, when you listen to that description, they had no shot. Like, there was no way for them to defend against this gunman. I mean, that officer, this was an ambush, a full-on ambush by a gunman who, for whatever reason, we don't know, wanted to get inside this building, wanted to get into that elevator and get upstairs and kill people, and he did. And we still don't know why. We know that from, according to the NYPD, a total of 4 victims here. The officer plus 3 civilians. Another person is fighting for their life. People died on that 33rd floor. We don't know why this gunman was targeting the people on that floor. We also know, this is going to be significant for the NYPD to come out and say this, that there is a documented mental health issue here. By law, they probably can't speak more about that, but certainly more about that will come out, and that's going to be a key thing. It's just this kind of an attack in this city on Park Avenue is going to stick, and it's going to really change how many of the buildings around us here are now protecting themselves. So much information that we've learned tonight, but there's still so much more, Laura, that we need to learn about what happened here.
Shimon, I'm so struck because I've watched you cover so many, sadly, mass shootings and crimes across this country. And the idea of this being the ambush that you're talking about, and how many people, wherever they are across this entire country, who have come into an office bank or an elevator and come out and been confronted by a weapon of this kind, have no idea what's going on and no real place to hide and cover themselves, especially in a place that is full of office buildings. This hits not just in New York, but across the country. People are probably wondering how and what measures can be taken to protect themselves.
No, you're absolutely right. And think about this. This is happening at the end of a workday. This is around 6:30 in the evening. People are going home. You know, you've worked a long day. It's Monday. Maybe you had a long weekend. It's the end of the day for most people. You know, some of the people may have been just starting their shift. This officer who is a father of two, his wife was expecting their third child, doing this is a paid detail. It's very known here in the NYPD. You do this to make extra money. The NYPD has a program. You can wear your uniform and you work off-duty security. And many buildings across the city have this for security reasons.
Right.
And sadly, that was not even enough in this situation.
John, I want to bring you in here because we are learning some details about who this gunman is. We know he's 27 years old, from Las Vegas, a concealed carry license from Nevada, as Shimon mentioned, a documented mental health history. You don't know what that really means, but what more do we know about him? But also, what is the investigation to figure out what more they can learn about him? What does that look like for law enforcement?
So that looks like, and this is where everything that's been going very high speed can slow down, be very meticulous. You know from your own criminal justice background as a former federal prosecutor, somebody who's in your old job is sitting there tonight writing up, you know, these are affidavits in support of search warrants. We need to get into his house, we need to get into his computer. We need to seize anything that could be writings, manifesto, notebooks, diaries, thumb drives, CDs. We need to kind of see preservation orders for his social media, and they are literally going to page backwards from the moment that shooting started through his entire life till they get, and that includes the medical history. That includes the medications that were found in the car by police. It includes what Las Vegas has on his documented mental history. It includes questions about how did he have a concealed carry permit to carry weapons in the state of Nevada if he had a documented mental history. Was it prohibited? Was it not? They'll literally be going backwards through every thread and fiber of his life until they find what may be an answer. As you know, as Shimon knows, as anyone who's been through this before knows, sometimes when we get through that whole background, even when we find the supposed answer, the alleged motive, when we hear it, it makes no sense to us because it was something that was going on in their head, in their world. And it's often disappointing when you consider the enormous cost of human life.
I'm so glad you mentioned and outlined what the investigation would look like for somebody who has apparently taken their own life. A lot of people might mistake this for being the end of the investigation and that the hands are now tied by law enforcement, but in many ways the work is beginning because there's still the idea of trying to deter this from happening again, but also figure out, did anyone else know about this? Did anyone else have any insight? And you may have noticed, if people were watching at home, during that press conference, Alvin Bragg was there. He, of course, the Manhattan DA, and even though the suspect is deceased, the investigation continues. And Shimon, we know that one of the victims, an off-duty NYPD officer, I can't tell you how, when I was watching the press conference, and you heard the commissioner say that he was a father of two young children and one on the way. As a mom, my heart absolutely sank. As a wife, my heart was through the floor. And I want you to, do you know anything else we can know possibly about the victims?
We don't know anything else about the other victims. Is that for me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Shimon, keep going. I want to bring you back in, John, later. Go
Okay,
ahead, Shimon.
sorry. But we don't know much more, right? Like at this point, because they've not identified anyone. We know that people in the lobby, security staff, it sounds like, may have been killed, and then some people from the building management routing, and we'll learn others possibly. We don't have any of the victims' names. So right now for the NYPD, they've had to focus mostly on one of their own, their officer, and that's why you saw the press conference happening at the hospital. But for this officer, 36 years old, it's a 3.5 to 4 year veteran of the NYPD. He's a Bangladeshi immigrant, and this stinks, right? And for this city, certainly, and for the people who work security at all of these buildings across our city, the people in the offices that we work in. This
Right.
is something that they think about. And so hopefully in the coming days, I think it's so important always in these situations to learn about the victims, and hopefully in the coming days, we will learn about those victims and learn more about their efforts to try and stop some of this, but that they really had no. What's so scary in all of this is that they had no way to defend themselves in this situation.
Unbelievable. I mean, John, I'd love you to weigh in because